Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of League Zero, and welcome to the first week of Expert Division games. We have the Chengdu Chads versus Easy Clap tonight. I am Acronator. Obviously, you all know me. I'm going to be your color caster and the lobby host for tonight, and I'm joined by the lovely Corbeck on play-by-play.
Oh, thank you, Acronator. I'm looking forward to it. This is some high-flying action here between the Chengdu Chads and Easy Clap. This should be a good one.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very interested to see what these teams do, as it doesn't look like either of them have their complete lineups, as far as I could tell, although Easy Clap is a lot closer, as Chads currently have a lot of people on offense. But you'll see
Yeah,
that.
we've been watching them work this out in the lobby, haven't we, for a little while now, as they try and figure out who their starting main tank is going to be from the crew that they have available. So maybe putting themselves in a little bit of handicap before they're even out the gate, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, well, it looks like Easy Clap is ready, but I believe the Chads are still making some last-minute possible adjustments. They don't have either of their main tanks right now, Fireclaw, their sub, or Mount, their assumed
Ugh.
starter. So right now, what we have, since I know you can't see the lobby with the graphics, is we currently have Genie on main tank, Bun on flex support, and then Chegg in for DPS along with Zira. So I believe we're good to go. So here goes something, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting we're getting the signal from both teams' management, so it's about as good as we can get.
Jerry rigging a roster right there, happening in real time. Love to see it, or hate to see it, I guess. Realistically, as we get started here on Nepal, what are you thinking for comps here, Acronator? The usual kind of high level stuff we're seeing these days.
You know, I don't. I have no clue. I know Zira and Bun just came off of a bunch of OD games. I believe they were rather successful in that, so I'm not sure how hard they're going to be trying.
Ah,
Um, Easy Clap, I'm assuming to be playing, yeah, the Brawl, because Neglect loves his Reinhardt. Occasionally he'll play that Winston, but Genie actually on the Winston here. Granted, they aren't spawned, so they can swap whenever they feel like it, but
yeah. Winston Sigma, not really the. Oh, there it is. I was gonna say that's an interesting one. Not seen that before, but there's the swap from the Brawl. I assume Recto there picking up that Symmetra just to give him a little bit of a boost out the gate.
yeah, possibly seeing Zira on the Echo as well. That's an interesting pick here, especially with Recto. Although Recto is on the Reaper, but they don't know that quite yet, so they don't know that nothing can really deal with that Echo for the time being. As I say that, it gets a little bit of poke damage early on and has to play a little bit more carefully.
Well, there you go. Zero getting in on the action early there. Just rotating up to the top now. Chengdu Chad's finally deciding to drop down there. Genie putting pressure on the front line, getting the most out of that cleave damage. Just trying to push up with the Winston, but really getting not a lot of traction whatsoever. Chegg and the rest of the team there forced to rotate around cover. Meanwhile, holding a strong line is Neglect. That was a really solid anti-nade in, but the follow-up just not there. This dive, this brawl, not really able to find a target and isolate as Strider kind of pushing them back with the May freeze there, and they're kind of rotating around the point again, just looking for an entrance. Genie towing that line, trying to bait out that wall, can't quite get it. Nobody, again, really willing to be the first one through the game. They're going to go in with the Nano to start it off. Wow, Genie goes straight into the back. He's forced to pop Primal almost immediately, though. Maybe not the best use of the Nano Monkey there. He's frozen out as well, which will slow things down. The Coalescence coming in from J Venom, staving off the Assault, and it's a grab coming in. And this fight has gone on for absolutely forever, Acme.
That was absolutely incredible at the very end there. Genie survived for probably a good 5-7 seconds with like 3 health, but eventually did get finished off there. And I am kind of noticing the difference between, Neglect, who's been a main tank forever, and then Genie, who's a flex support currently on Winston. The confidence is definitely different between the two of them.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a bit of a comp difference as well. Just really having a hard time getting the damage in, getting that Winston engaged, running in like they are. There's adaptive circuits on the Reinhardt. The wall does come up there, trying to split him off. And Recto will throw in the ult on the backside of the May Blizzard and get 3 right there as Worthy contributes as well. And they'll show them the door almost as quickly as they started.
Oh no, Thrifty's getting staggered so hard.
I hate to see it. You hate to see it. Oh, still there. Oh, good lord.
That was
okay, at least they didn't call the mech.
Yeah, they didn't quite get that far. Ducky has a little bit too much patience for that. Honestly, some really good showing there from Rectophobia. He's been on the bench the last couple seasons, but finally gets a starting spot and has been doing a lot of poke damage into the front line of the Chads, not allowing them to get in very easily.
Well, Genie pushing forward again, just trying to get space. Neglect right there to meet him. The Maywall is baited out this time, though, so that could be a bit of a different setup. They have to break it real quick to get in, but it's worthy the early casualty. Never mind, there's a shatter from Neglect. And the rest of the team will follow up. That bomb thrown in almost as an afterthought. They barely need it the way Recto is going. Winston diving around there. Genie trying to pick up some kills. Will not last. The Coalescence coming out from Venom should be enough to clear off this point. And it's a 0-99 start here.
Ooh, okay. Getting flashbacks from the early season 1 Chengdu Chads where they just kind of fumbled along and didn't quite understand what they were doing. But I think they're playing decent. They just gotta coordinate a little bit more. You know, they were not respecting Strider's May in particular. You know, that he was easily one of the top next DPS last season in Intermediate, moved up to Expert this season, and has a pretty good showing so far. I mean, he's playing up to their level.
Yeah, indeed, and we're seeing a changing of the tank lineups here. Neglect going over to the Winston, YOLO God switching over to the D.Va. Genie will be picking up the Arista with that slight new buff. Fires a little bit faster, and then Thrifty on the Sigma. So a double shield running into a dive. Well, we'll see how that works out as they skip themselves out the front gate.
Recto getting the early Sim TP to get Easy Clap out the door a little bit faster there. We'll swap over back to the Reaper.
Well, the shields are set up in the corner, so this is the kind of happy spot to be in for a comp setup quite like this. Hey, that's a new one. Worthy gets picked off by Chegg right at the start.
He was flanking on top of that, so I'm not sure what he was trying to accomplish, but it didn't work.
Well, they've kind of pinned him in a corner right here. There's not a whole lot that the Easy Clap can do to kind of get out. The majority of the Chengdu Chads coming forward, putting in the damage. There's the jump, so Winston does get in the back line. Neglect does manage to hold out. Chegg somehow gets taken off the edge of the map, and they'll lose Thrifty here as well. And it's all starting to break down because Adam follows quickly as the dive just kind of steamrolls onto point. There's really nothing there to hold him back, actually.
I wish I could have caught what happened to Chegg there. I think maybe the dive came in and he shotgunned off the point, but regardless, he wasn't there for the fight.
That was kind of unfortunate, and it's unfortunate too that Zira gets shut down before they even get in.
You know, I don't think I've ever seen Strider play the Sombra, but he's been doing pretty well so far on it. He's got good positioning, good target focus.
Speaking of the Sombra, there's the hack coming in on Chegg right there. Chegg caught out and burned down. That dive is just punishing, especially when the Sombra hacks come in. And effectively, the door is held here right now by the Chengdu Chads. Though the push now coming forward, Genie trying to take the lead here. They'll rotate to the left side of the point. Or right, I guess, as your perspective may be. Strider is right behind them. Neglect dives in. They're throwing a Coalescence in. Dueling Coalescences, in fact. Everything stacked up in this one tiny little bit of hallway here. And it's just a continued rotation here from the Chengdu Chads. But it's Recto getting those kills again on the Reaper. Recto has just been a man on fire at the moment.
Oh, they staggered Bun so hard there. You know, there's a reason Reaper is meta right now, and Recto's displaying that perfectly. He's just up in their faces, he refuses to die, and he's doing so much damage with those Death Blossoms.
Yeah, you absolutely I love this Winston Brawl dive. It's so cool. And there's Strider with the big EMP. That's 5 right there, and the deaths come quick on the backside of that. Really nothing to be done for it. Easy Clap. Chengdu Chad's there, just falling back.
Bun did get out of the MP, but he didn't survive that fight for much longer as they just kind of collapsed in on them. I think Easy Clap is really starting to feel it now. They're winning these fights with a single ult for the most part.
No, speaking of an ult, there's a D.Va bomb with 3! What? Oh, it's filthy D.Va bomb from YOLO God there. They throw in the bomb almost just to buy them a little bit of space, but I mean, what can they even do in that situation after they do? That's curtains.
Yeah, that was domination if I've ever seen it. Bun claiming he has golden limbs on the Moira for the most part. That's almost to be expected, YOLO God, with the central bomb here at the very end.
Good lord.
I'd expect nothing less from him at this point. He's just been a dominant off-tank every single season of the league's history at this point, all 4 seasons so far.
Yeah, it's just that was a pretty solid performance there coming out of Easy Clap. I think collectively the Chengdu Chads got about 10%, 14% wasn't on point across those 2 maps. Just get absolutely shredded.
Yeah, except we do finally have a real main tank
Ah,
in for the
here we
Chads.
go.
Matthew is here. Matt is in. I'm assuming they're wanting him in, and then probably Genie, and then Bun in for Chegg on the DPS is my assumption, because that's what they've
Yeah, it
always
looks
started
that
with.
way. Yeah, big switches there to light up, moving around, trying to take off some of those off rolls, and maybe we see a little bit of a spine developing there on the side of Chengdu Chads, and they definitely need one after that performance.
Yeah, definitely. And now the Chads do get the map pick, whereas Easy Clap got the first pick of Nepal. Easy Clap will get to choose attack or defense first.
Be honest with you, Acronator, I don't think it's the kind of thing that they can't overcome just based off what that was. A lot of those fights, I feel like things just kind of ran away with them in the beginning. They never really were able to get a solid regroup in. At least that's kind of how it fell on that second point of Nepal. I would say they spent almost the last 30 to 50% of that capture point just kind of in a state of constant stagger by how aggressively Easy Clap was playing into them. So maybe with the addition of the main tank and kind of moving the roster around, they can kind of just settle the ship a little bit and get back on course. I don't think that's outside of their capabilities by any stretch of the word.
Oh yeah, definitely. They have the skill. I think it was just they were a little bit uncoordinated with like three people on off rolls. You know, Chegg normally being a flex DPS, he was on hit scan. Genie being a flex support, he was on main tank. Bun being a really just all around DPS, and then on flex support. So I think now that they can have people on their actual roles, they can probably get it together a little bit more.
The ultimate damage Moira there. When you put your all around DPS on Moira. Love to see it. I do like I was saying though. I mean, you made a good point about the Reaper just being so effective, and Rectophobia, I think, was really showing us the deadliness of a Reaper in this day and age, and just unstoppable. Especially when you have the Winston and the Diva kind of jumping in to create that disruption. It's really kind of a renaissance for a character that I think, was popular at the very beginning of the game and then fell out of favor for a very long time.
Yeah, definitely, and it's always it's always a little bit of a tankier and almost a flashier meta whenever Reaper is
Yeah.
heavily involved in it. You think back to the Overwatch League Season 2 Grand Finals meta,
Mhm.
where it was that Doomfist Reaper, extremely high particle effects at that time.
Yeah. That's very true. Yeah, a lot of visual clutter, as it were. But hey, it was all good. I just remember the first season now when Reaper was kind of like the throw pick. I think we saw him ran like maybe twice on Temple of Anubis second point, and that was it. And you never ever saw him outside of that. And it was a sad time. Reaper is my best DPS, probably because he feels like you just walk forward and shoot people at the end of the day. That's my low masters opinion there on Reaper gameplay. So take from it what you will.
Yeah, well, it looks like Easy Clap wants to keep the momentum going. Not too shocking, knowing these players. They want to stay on the offense for Hanamura, which is the map pick for the Chads. I am seeing a lot of R's, I believe, from Easy Clap as well. Yeah, they gave the R. So we're just going to hop straight into it. It's going to be a fast match. I'm not sure who's going to win, but it's going to go fast.
I I always find this choice between attack and defense kind of an interesting dichotomy, right? And I wonder, Akinator, what do you think is the best choice usually? Let's say.
Assuming, or rather ignoring any potential odd personalities on the teams, cough Easy Clap. Generally, if you're confident in your play and you feel like you can beat the enemy, you probably want to defend first so you can get it done with faster. If you can full hold and then just get that first tick and be done with it, get the quick point, the better. But at the same time, if you have players who are very momentum driven, like Neglect, like actually, that's the only momentum-driven player I can see here on Easy Clap for the time being. The rest are usually pretty solid for the most part, but they like to appease Neglect, and I can't blame them. If you have a momentum-driven player, if you can just stomp your first attack, you can probably have a stronger defense as well.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I do think defense is kind of the way to go, but always happy to see a team taking the initiative, going in on attack. What do you make of the Winston brawl right on the defense? That seems a reasonable pick into, well, almost a mirror match on the other side. Minus a Baptiste. Nope, there it is. Absolute mirror match.
Yeah, I'm not too shocked. This is more or less the meta for the time being.
Yeah, this is very much how it be. Matthew starting up here on the high ground, though, looking for the dive in. Neglect just kind of peeking in through the doorway. The rest of the tourists coming with him there on their slight tour of the far side of Hanamura Point 1. They've boxed themselves into the pagoda here for a second. They'll just keep the rotation going. Neither team really looking to engage. You got to time these engages very carefully in this setup, using all the cover they can, and then they're just going to walk straight into each other. Dive be damned. Nope, there it is. Neglect finally jumping in over the top, and they'll put the pressure straight on, driving them off the point for the most part. You saw Bun there trying to hold out on the Reaper, just giving a little bit of point contest, really just towing the line right now, not giving him a lot of space. Matthew finally goes down, the first casualty at the hands of Recto's shotguns. But again, this fight just going on forever. Recto gets at him here, and that'll take the Lucio out of this. So definitely defenders struggling just a little bit here. There's the Coalescence on the backside coming in from Venom, but Genie unleashes almost at the same time, dueling Coalescence on the point. Again, huge EMP though. That's 5! And Bun throwing in the ult at the end too, and when it looked like things might have been gone there for the defenders, they will turn that around in fashionable style with an EMP.
Well, okay, I guess Bun accompanied YOLO got off the point there. Let's assume that was intended. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But honestly, that was a beautiful recapture of the point there from Bun and Zero using their ultimates. Of course, it did feel a little bit like an over ult, but the fact that they had lost Matt and Adam early on in that fight, I get the feeling that was probably the only way they were going to keep the points.
I think it's a very wise assessment. But now Strider has the EMP, so the favor about to be returned. Strider is in position. No spy check for that. Strider out. Big EMP. That's 5. No. There's the pressure coming in right away, and Recto repeats the trick on that Reaper, getting 2 kills right there. And they'll push in and finish off yet another one as well, as Thrifty cannot stay in the mech for more than a second. Bun, the lone defender, after his brief trip off the edge, and he will be taken down and the point will be secured. So a miraculous recapture, really, to keep him in that for just a little bit longer, but not enough to hold off the resultant EMP.
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually kind of surprised Adam didn't try to hide there. I didn't actually check if he had his beat going in.
That's a good question.
Fight. But if he did, then he probably should have expected. You know, Adam is revered as one of the best main supports in the league right now, so he definitely knew that the EMP was there. Maybe he just didn't have the beat and decided, oh well, might as well be with the team.
Well, the push coming in now. They'll drop down. Neglect looking for the dive. They've got some ults to play with here as well. They'll push forward onto point. That does force Matthew down off the high ground. Matthew just trying to get in some damage, and the Diva Bomb will initiate things. Coalescence coming over the top as well. No joy on the bomb, but there's the sound barrier to extend the fight. They'll keep this going. Counter sound barrier unleashed. There's a bomb in middle of everything. Doesn't get anyone. YOLO God is hacked right now, so that will slow things down. Bun wins the Reaper duel in the middle of the point. That's a serious piece of damage there, taken out from the attackers. Bun continuing his little bit of a tear there. Gets Neglect on the backside as well. And it looks like they've pretty much cleared the deck here, and the attackers running for the fence is worthy. Really the last casualty of that fight as he tried to disengage.
Yeah, definitely. That just seemed like a really hectic fight once the Diva Bomb started flying out. Everyone had to take awkward positions just not to die to the giant nuke in the middle of the field. But
it's a problem with those giant nukes.
Yeah, well, the defenders, Chads, do have quite a few more ults online and ready, so I'm assuming Easy Clap is going to look for a dry fight here, possibly get a tick if they can win the mid fight, but otherwise just trying to get, those DPS ults out.
Well, Recto firing a couple of sort of dulcetory shots there from the high ground. Not a lot of getting out of that, but at least he's making them think about those shotguns. They'll rotate right around to the spawn doors here, really playing this as cautiously as possible. A chess match, as it were. Neglect will drop onto the point. That will force Matthew in again. Recto tries to jump immediately on the Winston. Can't quite finish him off, though. The Coalescence coming out now on the side of Genie. That's a big EMP on the back of it. Bigger EMP on the other side. Now, does that turn things fun? Throwing in the ultimate there, enough, I think, to drive the attackers off, and Thrifty and Bun combined to sweep the point clear.
Actually, rather interesting there that EasyClap decided to invest the DPS ultimate. So if I were them, I almost would have just said, no matter what, unless we start getting like 3-4 picks, then maybe throw out the ults, but otherwise hold on to them, and then you're coming into this fight. The Chads don't have very much to work with, whereas EasyClap does have a little bit. They're going to have 3 ults. Depending on how fast Worthy can build up that beats, they might have 4, but they're definitely not going to have the Blossom or the EMP this fight.
Yeah, I think the EMP may be the thing they want the most, and Strider, he gets caught looking there by Genie with, I think, a little bit of help from Matthew there as well. It's just trying to farm that EMP back up as quickly as possible. That's the one I think they missed the most, if I'm going to be honest. Such a powerful ult.
Yeah, definitely. Do have a little bit of poke coming in, but not really too much going on right now.
just trying to get it, you know, just trying to get work up towards that EMP. I think they almost belatedly realized it was the win condition. In comes the dive, and Coalescence coming out on the backside. There's Neglect on the monkey ult there. Sends Jay Venom off the edge of the map. I think that was actually Thrifty Grain who did that. My apologies. Recto getting a kill here on the other side. Now Bun gets pooped off the map. This time he goes over not of his own volition. The bomb gets thrown, bubble gets broken right as the bomb goes up, but they won't get anybody with it. Thrifty loses his position. They'll throw out the EMP. 3 caught here. Worthy does get taken down. Recto's still alive on the point, but the hack comes in there. Will slow the Reaper down. Not a lot he can do. The Coalescence coming out from Genie almost as an afterthought, but maybe necessary there to sweep the point. Bun throwing in the ult at the end. Maybe a little unnecessary.
Yeah, maybe a little bit overzealous, you know, but he's been building them rather fast, so I can give him a pass on this one, especially since they do have the tank ults online. But that's all the defense has, whereas the Easy Clap does have the EMP Blossom yet again, so all they need to do is force them into a group and fire away.
Well, forcing them into the group is going to be the challenge here. Easy Clap coming in through the front door. A little bit of a high ground jump there for half a second by Neglect. EMP goes out, only 1 caught with it, or no, 3 caught with it at the end of the day. Bomb comes in on the backside. Not a lot they can do on the other side of that, though. Recto doing a great job here, clearing the point. Worth contributes a little bit as well. Thrifty Grave tries to dive back in. Will lose the mech almost immediately. Thrifty cannot stay alive. The contest now coming out from Matthew with that monkey ultimate, just trying to keep things alive. You see Zero there on the outside edge. Adam doing the best Lucio dance he can, trying to stay on it, but he steps off. Oh no.
That's terrible.
That's tragic.
I think that was a bit of a miscommunication there, as I think that was Adam who got booped off the point, and Zero wasn't quite ready to contest himself yet. So that was just the tiny little bit of 3 to 5% that Easy Clap needed. Actually, worth noting that Recto didn't even need to use his Death Blossom there to capture the point. Although, to be fair, Zero hacked him like 3 times in a row, so he just couldn't get it off regardless.
It is, you are correct. Yeah, I honestly think you're right as well. I think that was a miscommunication because you saw Zero was coming forward right about the same time that Adam kind of stepped off to go around that piece of cover for just buy himself a moment of respite. Just a miscommunication costing them there in overtime.
Well, we will have the Chad's opportunity to attack now. They do still have plenty of opportunities to stay in this map in particular. Of course, they are down one in the series, 1-0 right now for Easy Clap. I would not expect the Chads to run out on this, at the very least, this DPS lineup. I wouldn't be shocked to see the supports at the very least stay the same. While Zero and Bun are known as the one tricks of the heroes they're currently on, yeah, they're going to swap it up a little bit. They're gonna have a little bit extra time to swap, so the gates open. Yeah, sure enough.
There we go. Yeah, Torbjorn bold. Attack Torbjorn is bold choice. Not gonna see it today though, unfortunately. Matthew coming forward here. They do have Strider in position above them. They don't know quite about that yet. They'll push in straight through the gate. An early pick there on Recto. Just gets rushed down by the attackers. Not a lot he can do. The Chengdu Chad's now trying to rotate to point. You can see Neglect wants to get in on them, but almost a little bit hesitant. Doesn't want to get quite close to the damage. They'll jump in a little half-heartedly there. The team is split on the point now, though, but they'll take Strider down on the outside edge. Now Bun getting in on the action as well. They lose the Reinhardt, but it's not enough. And wow, that was an attack and a half there, Acronator coming in.
Yeah, I think they just couldn't really respect Bun enough. Once Strider got taken down, that was a lot of the pressure gone from the DPS lineup of the Chads. Zero putting in a lot of poke damage in the Hanzo. I mean, obviously now he almost has Dragon.
He does. 6 minutes on the clock as well. My lord.
Although I believe Easy Clap had 4 minutes on their attack coming into second, so it is possible to hold for a long time, but it's going to be rough.
Yeah, so the bar has been set quite high here for Easy Clap on the defense. A little bit of a brawl there between Bun and Strider in the back line. Doesn't really make a difference, though, because the fight's actually happening on point. Genie, though, will go down early. There's the Dragons out. It's not a bad Dragons. Doesn't really catch anyone. Does split the team. but there's not really an opportunity to capitalize. There was a Boostio running around there in the middle of the point. Adam, unfortunately, not really able to turn that nano into anything of true value, and the Coalescence coming out there from Venom just to wipe things clear there at the end.
Yeah, Bun now running for his life as they're currently looking for the stagger. Thrifty jumps off the map, and it looks like Bun will probably survive for the time being.
Should do. Winston all gets thrown into the end by Neglect. He juggles him out and he kills him. Oh, that's just naughty. Zero gets one on the other side, but respawn difference is going to be a bit of a factor there, I imagine.
They wanted the stagger so bad, and Neglect was having none of it.
I mean, that was great. That was great play from Neglect. He booped him back, I think, onto the point and killed him. That was really cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a stereotypical Neglect play.
That was really good. They're up on the high deck now, doing a little bit of fighting over the doorway there. Huge EMP, that's 5. That should seal the deal here. Neglect more than happy to walk forward into that one and shock away with the Tesla cannon, and he'll get the clearance as easy as you please. The dive coming into Bun on the back line. Once again, Bun trying to duel, I think, with Strider and Worthy. Does get the better, but not enough.
Yeah, no, I think the plan there for Chads, in hindsight, was to have Bun flank around and contest the points. And I mean, it did somewhat work, as Worthy did get taken out there. He couldn't really take the 1v1 against the Reaper, but when the rest of the team gets 5-man EMP, that's kind of it for the Chads' push.
And again, the fight will start here over the doorway. A little bit of Pixies there being played by Zira on the Hanzo. And those Sound Barrier Dragons, the bomb comes out on the other side. Absolute ult fiesta going in here. Zira, though, coming out by Recto on the high ground, destroyed. There will be no more arrows from the Hanzo. The fight boiling around to the point. Neglect popping another Primal there. The counter Primal coming out from Matthew. The two Winstons kind of beating each other there for a second. Nobody actually fighting on the point as Neglect and Yolo God get 2 picks, and they'll usher the Chengdu Chads back to their spawn door.
Yeah, sure enough, Neglect was about 3/4 of the way to the Chad spawn. A lot of ults going out there, honestly.
That was a lot.
Rather hectic. I'm not sure if that was the plan for any of that, aside from maybe the Dragons from Zira. Actually, now swaps over to the Sombra. I can't blame him. He hasn't been getting enough value out of his Dragons to hold on to it, as opposed to the EMP, which is just so strong right now.
Well, Strider, speaking of EMP, Strider does have one. We've seen this particular act before. We'll see if repetition comes their way. Chengdu Chats rotate all the way up to the high ground. Up, they're gonna run straight into Strider, who's right there in the midst of him. How did they not decloak him? Because he gets a huge EMP. The Coalescence coming in. Recto with 3 on the back of that play, and I don't know how Strider did it. How?
The very slight run speed difference saved him right there.
Oh my god.
The fact that Bun or Zira or anyone just happened to decide not to shoot as they were running down the stairs is the saving grace for Strider. That was terrifying for him, I'm sure.
He must have been, you're right, he must have been absolutely terrified. Man should go buy himself a lottery ticket if that's the kind of luck he has, because that was one of the strangest things I've ever seen, actually, to be honest. Recto on the high ground now, putting in a little bit of damage. Decides discretion, the better part of Valor there, will regroup with the rest of the team. The fight will come down to point. Matthew jumping in. Matthew gets sectioned off and burned down almost immediately. Cannot stand. Thrifty getting pushed. You hear the Reaper all coming out there. Neglect will go down. Bob thrown out here as well. Bun is starting to pick up momentum, cleaning up some kills. Recto really alone goes back into his team's corner to try and hold off, but they'll lose Worthy here as well. Now both Lucios are out of the fight. That spawn differential going to start to be a factor here as a Primal Rage is unleashed by Matthew, who's more than happy to juggle around the point, but really Neglect coming back in from the spawn, able to help them stabilize and back clean up.
Honestly, I have to give a lot of credit to Yolo God in that fight. He was on Bun's tail like nothing else and denying a lot of his ultimate, denying a lot of his primary fire as he was chasing down Worthy and J-Venom, and just using as much defense matrix as possible to just deny him any value whatsoever.
Has great plays coming out there from the Diva. Now another chance here for the Chengdu Chads. They are running out of time. A minute left in the time bank. 3 ults up. Matthew immediately onto the point here, trying to force out. There it is. The jump coming off Neglect. They'll get only 2, I think, with that EMP. The counter EMP gets 4. There's a bomb up in the air. Gets no one. Neglect does have the primal, should he choose to use it. Matthew will go down early in this fight. Strider finally losing the 1v1 against Bun. It's taken a while, but they'll get there. Coalescence coming out on the side of Genie now, just keeping him alive, keeping him up on the point. Despite absolute chaos here as Neglect pops the primal, but Neglect will go down. You hear the stirrings of a Reaper ultimate in the midst of that fight. Unfortunately, no value on that for Recto. Strider coming back in on the Doofus, jumps in, punches 1. And that might be enough here to secure them some space, and the time really is not favoring them. Big EMP on the backside, but there's literally no one there to follow up on an Acronator. It's just Genie, who can do nothing but watch that time tick away.
I think Strider just saved this map for them. The second he punched Bun and killed him, Bun had just gotten his Death Blossom, so that is absolutely crucial.
Yeah, massive play. I mean, that's kind of that's one of the classic stall picks, right? When that Doofus comes back and you just punch anyone. Fortunately for him, he's punched the right guy in that circumstance. And this is Thrifty Grain getting a little bit of play of the game there. Not exactly the most action-packed play of the game I've ever seen, but go for it.
Yeah, it works.
It works.
Didn't win
there was a play. It was in the game.
All right, let's see. So that means Chads are actually at death's row right now. They have to fight every single map from now on to stay in the series. They're down 2-0. It's first to 3.
Yeah, it really got put on the back foot there. I mean, I was going to say, I think at the early stages, that map, looked relatively even, Acronator, but 6 minutes burned down on a Hanamura attack is a little rough. I mean, that stings, if I'm being honest.
Especially because when Easy Clap was on their attack, they had 4 minutes. Obviously, it took them until overtime to cap. But at the very least, in multiple of those pushes, they were getting, a single tick and then that second tick. And then finally, they got that third tick, whereas Chads just couldn't even get that first tick on the board.
Yeah, it was maybe felt, I think, at times like a bit of a chaotic effort on that attack, a little bit disorganized. We saw a lot of ults being invested at various times and not always in the most sensible manner. Thinking of the dragons that got thrown in around the same time as the beat, and I think there was a coalescence. There's a lot of stuff being thrown out and just not a lot of value being derived. It's unfortunate, but the way it goes.
Yeah, I think the Hanzo pick from 0 is absolutely incredible for their first point. Push gave a lot of poke damage, a lot of extra damage. I don't think it was getting quite as much value once the sight lines were more in favor of the defense. They had to really fight to even get 0 of those sight lines, and it took them until 2 minutes remaining to decide to get onto the Sombra. And while he did have some good EMPs, Strider was generally more on top of it, getting larger EMPs, getting more value out of it.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm thinking of that. I think it was maybe the second to last fight where they threw that EMP, really only got the tanks with it. I think they would have hoped for a lot more on the backside of that because Strider kind of came out of nowhere and I think picked up 4 with his right on the backside. But I mean, the only time that the Hanzo even managed to get kind of the high ground positioning you would like to see there was just immediately Recto was on him, didn't give him any room to breathe. And I mean, Hanzo Reaper, that's a bit of a mismatch when you're about 2 feet apart. The shotguns do tend to help in those kind of situations.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, and honestly, Recto's been absolutely on fire on this Reaper.
Really has been. It's been an impressive performance. Neglect, I think, too, really standing out there on the Winston play. I mean, that primal was a absolute set piece of Winston, kind of malicious Winston gameplay right there.
Yep. Well, Easy Clap chose to stay on the attack. Surprise, surprise. Also, surprise, surprise, we got King's Row, Scrim's Row as the pick from the Chads. I don't think I've seen anything aside from King's Row thus far. It's just a fan favorite,
It really is. It's probably arguably everybody's favorite map. If I had to like survey the Overwatch community, no matter what platform you play on, I feel like, because I come from console watch, and yes, it's also Scrim's Row. I play this map pretty much every time I scrim at least once. It's inescapable.
Yeah, well, it's just a good map, and I believe it's actually
great
one of the first maps they designed when making the game, so I'm not too surprised there. A lot of love and effort went into it. I would not take whatever Easy Clap is playing right now for granted as their they're on the offense, so they can swap whenever they feel like it. As funny as it would be to see Recto pull out on the Bastion on attack, I don't think that's going to happen. Whereas, yeah, the defense looks a lot more standard. Thrifty, swapping back and forth, debating whether he wants to go the Diva or the Czar. Opts for the Diva. Probably be seeing, yeah, mirror comps for the time being. Aside from... Okay, no, J Venom does swap. Okay, I was going to say...
The last second Moira switch, I think they did that last map as well. The attackers coming in straight through the door, and they will begin the statue dance there. They're going to rotate around the left side of it here. Coming forward, but not getting a lot of pressure in. We're used to seeing this kind of brawl standoff here, the waltz of death, as it were, but neither side really getting the picks that they would like to see, and the full rotate going in there underneath the clock tower. They'll come out onto the balcony, and they're still waiting to drop in again to restart the festivities. There's the first one coming down. That'll be YOLO God. Neglect jumps in as well. Rest of the team following up, getting pushed back into the corner now. Zera, the one who gets hacked there for a good half a second. Zera will lose that hack status almost immediately, and back into the clock tower room they go.
I'm not entirely sure if EasyClef knows how they want to put... Okay, now they do.
Well, there we go. Coalescence coming out. I think I heard her hammer down in the midst of all that as well. Matthew takes a brief, relaxing lie down. Won't stay there for long. Dueling Coalescence is coming out, but it will be Neglect who goes down first. Worthy followed up there almost immediately by that Coalescence. Genie deriving some good value out of that sort of counter Coalescence, and unfortunately YOLO getting staggered again.
Yeah, there's nowhere to jump off at this part of the map, so he just has to take it, unfortunately.
Yeah, not a lot you can do. Long attack, not a lot of value, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I feel like they wanted to rotate around and weren't quite sure exactly how to approach it once they got there. They stared in the face of the Chads and realized, what do we do? So,
I've seen the face of the Chad, and I am answerless. There's the big EMPs on both sides. Everybody gets a hack. You get a hack. You're all hacked. But unfortunately, one side starting to emerge. YOLO God will get Zero out of it almost immediately. Bombs thrown in, get no value. Sound barrier coming out on the other side will extend the fight. Neglect goes down. Counter bomb coming up into the air. You hear Bond on the backside firing off the Reaper all pun with 3. Strider will finish him off eventually, but I think it's too little too late. And they will re-secure the point that Chengdu Jad's defense holds.
Yeah, this is honestly just looking a lot scrappier on the side of EasyClap. I think it's probably a reason that the Chads are looking so good on this map. They probably scrimmed it quite a lot, knowing them. They probably have scrimmed nothing but this, but...
Well, Dueling Coalescences again. Genie and Venom pretty much on par with those all the time. Looks like a bit of a dangerous situation here for Neglect. Neglect attack, taking out huge shatter on the backside of that as Matthew just goes forward. Bun more than happy to clean up those kills on the backside of his Reinhardt's pocket. And it just leaves YOLO God again.
That was beautiful, honestly. The second they focused down Neglect, which they've been doing a great job of doing thus far, Matthew just decided, okay, well, I have a free shatter on 5, so let's do that. And that's pretty much the fight, you know? Bun now flanking up on the high ground. He's going to say hi to Strider for a little bit. Gonna have to drop back down.
Just a little love tap, letting him know he's there, you know. He'll go back to the point. There's the push in again, coming straight on this time is Neglect, who has been having a bit of a struggle here to get some value out. Neglect will lead the charge. Big EMP there, that's all 6. And the kills will come free and easy to the defenders as the Chengdu Chads clean it up. And YOLO God, oh, this is beginning to be a scene we've seen before. Let's just put it at that.
Yeah, well, you do have quite a few big ultimates on the side of EasyClep now, whereas the Chads really only have 2 to work with. Of course, Adam has to build up his beat rather quickly to deal with the oncoming onslaught of EasyClap's DPS ults in particular. They're going to have that EMP Blossom. They have to know it's coming. So we're gonna
here comes the rotate through the hotel. Good EMP-ish, and they'll try and follow it up. Unfortunately, they will get the picks. Unfortunately, Chengdu Chads really can't stabilize here. Just a bunch of death right there, and actually managed to conserve Recto's ult, which I think is honestly the most important, impressive part of that entire attack.
Yeah, honestly, they did a good job. I think Adam did a good job of hiding from the EMP. I don't think he got EMP'd, if I recall, but he did get shattered. And I don't think they were expecting the EMP shatter. I think they were expecting those double DPS ults, so that was a good switcheroo up on the side of EasyClap.
Yeah, it was indeed. I didn't even notice that, but you're totally right. It was that was really well executed, as it were. The move over to the streets here, right outside the bookshop. A little bit of fire being exchanged, and Matthew will push forward. He's taking a goodly amount of space. Actually manages to hold them in the bottom of the arc. Good hack there onto Neglect. Will force that Reinhardt back around the corner. Doesn't want to stand there for too long without a shield. Neglect's got it back up again as they start to push forward here. Ultimate stacking up in favor of the Chengdu Chads, though, should they choose to use it. Strider lurking in their back line there, not getting spy checked at all, looking for an opportunity to put in a little bit of damage. Will translocate out. There comes the Coalescence. I assume, no, they'll follow it up with a sound barrier, actually, as Bun unleashes his anger once again. He'll get Worthy and the mech, and YOLO God as well. And they'll just push up and then clean up the rest of those kills.
I'm actually pretty impressed that Worthy managed to have the composure not to use the beat there, because that's very obviously a panic thing to do when you're Lucio. You hear Death Blossom, oh, Q, but he definitely would not have gotten it off. So at the very least, they have that for this upcoming fight, although they do have to worry about that EMP, and Zera's been doing a good job of waiting for the beat to unleash his ultimate on Sombra. So might be negated. We'll have to wait and see how Easy Clap plays this one out.
Taking the scenic route this time. Our Easy Clap as they'll come around the backside. And now defending the cart are the defenders. They'll push right in there. There's the Reaper ult in as well. Not a lot of value coming out of that, though. Adam does go down early. EMP on the backside. Not a lot of value out of that either. Diva Bomb left on cart there, a little present from Easy Clap will actually take Genie out, the one hero probably who shouldn't have died to that thing. The bomb going up into the air, coming back down almost immediately, gets Chief Venom on the other side. Oh no, Warriors can't fade apparently is the theme of this little interlude. As Thrifty Grain is caught out, and the supports did come forward to try and support their baby Diva, and they might be able to get Thrifty Grain out of there.
Honestly, if you're the Chads here, you're pretty happy, because you did lose that fight, but that was such an early fight into the Streets phase that they have easily 1-2 more fights, at least one more good fight here, and they do have some ults coming up online, but they need to survive.
The EMP shatter on the backside of that. Rectophobia gets in. YOLO God throwing in their hat as well, and they'll actually clear right up to the doorway here. Neglect was hacked for the majority of that push, but I don't think he really cared at that point in time. Momentum all in his favor on that particular press, and Zera caught out looking there on the outside edge will get burned down almost immediately, and they will complete, but only a minute 30 on the clock here, Acronator.
Yeah, this is going to be really, really tough to finish out the third phase here, but if they can get a good push, probably around that second corner, then they can easily be happy with their offense here. Oh, that's not a good start, though.
That's not a good start. He jumps into the back line and tries to get off the Reaper ult as well. Bud getting a little high off his own supply there, maybe on the backside of winning that Reaper 1v1, but he will take YOLO God out of mech, and YOLO God with the brutal stagger here, just trying to get over the edge. And reset as that clock ticks down.
Yeah, they will have one more good fight here. They do have both support ults. YOLO God should be getting close to his bomb, if I recall. That's, I believe, right now listed on the screen his, his baby. Okay, yep, so he is coming up onto his bomb. Rectophobia coming up on his Death Blossom as well, whereas the Chads don't really have too much to work with. They're going to have a little bit, not quite as much as Easy Clap, so they have the tools necessary to push the card a lot further. They need to act quickly and utilize them, though.
Well, Father Time here knocking on the door of Easy Clap, but they're pushing forward into the jaws of the defenders right now. Chengdu Chad's backing up a little bit here, giving them some ground. Zera has the EMP, and he'll lose it, or he'll use it early. They'll push up. That's 4 hack there. Coalescence follows up as well, but it's a great beat to counter it out. Worthy driving huge value there. Rectophobia not able to get a ton of value on his side. He gets taken out early by Bun. The sound barrier from the other angle will allow them to keep going here. They do have the ult stacked up to Easy Clap, and if they can use them, they might be able to decisively put this one to bed. And there's the shatter coming out. One target caught. It's Thrifty, who will be healed right back up. They will not have the joy of taking that Diva out of mech, but they have effectively split the Chengdu Chads. Your big EMP on the backside. Bomb goes up. YOLO God got it up on the high ground, though only got one. Recto says, fine, I'll put mine in as well. And they'll stack up a number of kills there. The bomb threw him out almost petulantly at the end by Thrifty, who will manage to remech there, which will help them with the stagger, but Thrifty burned down almost immediately, and they will push it through. No, they will not. Adam drops on, and they will finally get it, but man, it was an ugly take if ever we've seen one.
Yeah, that was scrappy till the very end. Overtime once again. I would really like to know how Adam died to that bomb, because I saw it go up on the high ground thinking, oh, well, it's a whiff. And then the Lucio's dead, and everyone's confused.
Gosh, yeah, sometimes those diva bombs, you don't really know. I just don't know. The only thing that I could think maybe is that it was so close to the lip, and I'd have to watch it back, that he might just have been caught out by some weird angle, or he might have been up there or nearby, but I don't think he was. It was, yeah, they were lucky to get him out of that. I think that's okay.
Yeah.
They'll take that one to the bank.
Yeah,
They're not going to be complaining.
He wasn't close to beat, but I mean, getting Lucio out of the fight for a few seconds is always a good thing. Now, of course, Chads have their opportunity to make their statement known, to keep themselves in this series. They need to full cap this entire map if they want to stay alive. Otherwise, they're going home with a clean sweep against them.
Yeah, not exactly how they'd want to start things off here in week 1, is it? If we're being honest. Though, to be fair, I feel like for the majority of that defense, you did kind of get the feeling that the Chads were kind of in the driver's seat, barring a few kind of fights that went the way of Recto and crew, and it was kind of those fights were obviously the decider ones, but Chads controlled, I think, the majority.
Yeah, and of course they have looked to be the faster acting team, so I think offense is going to suit them a little bit more, especially on this first point here where they had pretty dominant defense for the most part.
Well, they'll move straight into the Alderworth Hotel here. Matthew just toes the line on the point. I think they're basically looking to bait out the dive. Recto gets hacked early on. Recto! Oh no! Recto gets caught out. He was down to a sliver of health, and they just couldn't get him back up, and Strider gets taken down as well. So the teeth get ripped out of the defense here at the very start, and the Chengdu Chads will happily take that point, demonstrating the speed you were just talking.
Yeah, that was honestly a really good target focus there from Zero, realizing that Recto was completely out of position and getting the hack off, and then, Thrifty comes in, gets the final blow, and that's that.
That was a very convincing take right there on the backside. They'll push up here as well. They're trying to take a ton of space and maybe make this street phase a little easier. 5 minutes, 30 seconds. I mean, we've a healthy time bank, but we've seen them lose a healthy time bank before.
Why is Bun the one who's on cart? Usually it's the Lucio that put it. Okay.
Adam just really he just wants a piece. He's feeling it. He wants a piece. That's a really good question. Matthew now engaging big EMP on the backside. The defenders running for the hills, showing their heels right there, trying to get into cover. Neglect will not make it. YOLO God getting taken down as well. Quick and easy in the streets phase. Looking quick and easy at this moment as they'll push right around the corner by the pub and head straight towards the entrance.
Yeah, honestly, Easy Clap is just kind of suffering from the Chads having a brilliant ult rotation right now. They're winning these fights with really 1, maybe 2 ultimates and just cycling them through really cleanly. So it's giving him a lot of momentum and a good amount of tempo into these fights.
Well, the recontest is here, but Neglect gets hacked almost immediately. Neglect not really able to do a lot. Big shatter there, gets the tanks. They'll follow up and try and get the pick, and they'll get the card in as well. 5 minutes, 50 seconds on the clock as the Chads just push in. That sort of ego on the defenders there in that tiny little side corridor.
Zero is not exactly pleased that he got pinned there, and Neglect also did get a little bit of revenge on Matt at the very end there, so he does get the last laugh, I suppose, but he does need to pull it into full gear once again, as he did in the previous maps, to hold this defense. I mean, 5.5 minutes is such a huge time they give me for it.
I'm sweating buckets. Like Shaq free throw line right now as they come forward. Strider throwing out that EMP. Gotta push forward into it, and they're gonna try and clean up some kills on the backside of it, and they will do so. Neglect taking out a little bit of pent-up rage there with the hammer, getting a couple of picks on the front line. Zira just trying to get out and will do so, but they will finally stop the juggernaut that was the Chad's attack.
Yeah, definitely. The cart finally stopped there. I like the EMP shatter combo. They only EMP the tanks, but that's all you need if you're going to shatter right after it.
Well, Matthew now pushing forward just as aggressively. He doesn't want to give him any time to breathe. They do have an EMP of their own should they choose to use it. Pushing up here to the corner, the pressure really on there, and they've taken a ton of space. The Chads throw out the grab there at the end. They'll move up and swing into it. Sound barrier thrown into this as well, just continuing the fight. Bomb comes out, EMP comes out of the backside of it. Bun throwing in the Reaper ultimate. The way is clear. You are green to go. The Chengdu Chads will take that one straight in. Oh, nope. A light touch there at the end by YOLO God, trying to hold him off, but wow. What an attack, Acronator. What an attack.
They woke up finally. It took them 2 maps, but they got there. I guess we could call it a map and a half since they had a good attempt on Hanamura on the previous map. But whew, that was
Scary.
something else. Well, at the very least, they survived for yet another map because the worst they can do is tie here. So we live to see map 4.
Where's it been? I just, oh my lord, talk about a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation right there. The Hyde side coming out on that attack. That was vicious, clinical at times. It almost felt just totally dominant.
Yeah, that honestly looked like the Chads I think everyone was expecting, and well, I won't say anything quite yet. If they keep playing like that, they certainly put their name in the running for a potential reverse sweep. But they gotta take it one map at a time right now. Don't get too excited about map 5 while you're still on map 3.
1 foot in front of the other. I assume we're not going to be seeing the Lucios and Yada healing duo.
As much as I'm sure Genie would love, I don't think he's going to lock it in.
I'd be tempted. I'd love to see what would happen, if we're being honest. It's very, very aggressive. But no, you said swap's starting to come in. Thrifty Grain there going over to the Diva. Bun maybe staying on this Widowmaker does have an opportunity to swap. Doesn't look like they're going to. So the Widow coming out early and a forward hold here, really. By the defenders, who almost immediately give up ground as Bun just tries to take that high ground positioning and see what they can do on the Widow. But it's Recto who gets caught out early and brought down again. We've seen this tape before because Neglect goes down almost immediately thereafter. Now Matthew, pretty much uncontested control of the point. J Venom and Worthy can do nothing but fall before the beating hammer of the Reinhardts. And that's it. Chengdu Chads putting themselves back in the race.
Yep, they're back on the map. I was going to say something about Bun being a pretty nasty Widow, but he didn't really get the chance to show it.
Oh, no. Insult to injury there at the end as well.
Knowing that, he's probably a little bit salty as well.
Yeah, probably a little bit. I feel like it's one of the best highlight intros for just making people real unhappy, if I'm being honest.
Whoever at Blizzard decided to be a thing is just evil, and I love it.
Yeah, it's very much so. I agree 100%. Well, and Chad's there fighting their way back on King's Row, putting the boot into Easy Clap, really not even looking at all contested on their attack. And then that final push there for the overtime win, it's basically textbook. Bun, of course, yeah, as you said, didn't really get a chance to show off the Widowmaker skills, but didn't really need to. They caught Recto looking, I think, on both their first point attacks. And once he was gone, everything just kind of collapsed there for the Easy Clap.
Yeah, a few early picks there just opened up the gate, and I mean, I think they lost YOLO God rather early, and that's basically it. You can't lose your off tank like that, especially on King's Row.
Yeah, it's true. It's a good map for off tanks, as it were. Now it's the opportunity of Easy Clap here, I guess, to decide a map. So if they do want to put it to bed, I mean, this is the best opportunity that they're going to get to do so.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't be shocked to see him actually come out on Gibraltar. The other options being Dorado and Rialto, because we're going to Escort. Gibraltar obviously being that quintessential dive map, and Neglect loves him, loves his good old Winston play. So I wouldn't be shocked to see that.
I feel like he's more comfortable on the Winston than the Rhine, kind of just based off that last map, if I'm being honest, at least at this point in time.
Yeah, that's what I'd have to say too. He's generally known as the Winston god here in League Zero, so have to see. I guess if Recto is correct, they're just flipping a coin for their map pick. I would hope there's a little bit of strategy going into this. This is their opportunity to close out the series and create a massive upset. But it's up to them, I guess. Okay, they're going Dorado.
Fortune favors. Yeah, you can still. Well, yeah, you can still dive. It's still a favorable dive map, but it does also favor Widow play if Bun decides that he wants to try that. But knowing that they're coming out on dive, I doubt we'll be seeing that, at least on the defense.
If I'm reading this correctly. Oh wait, no, never mind. They almost debated me. They said Infected in for Matthew, but Infected is the main tank sub for Easy Clap. So that would have been weird.
That would have been a bit of an imposter there sneaking in, but we'll not be seeing that. So Speaking outsides here for a second, Dorado, of course, a dive-friendly map, should you choose to use it. In fact, probably arguably one of the more famous dive-friendly maps, I think, back in the day for most of the first and second stage. Starts, I think, to get a little bit more dicey on the third stage at times, but it's still quite useful. A lot of verticality to be played off of as well, which is, I think, one of my favorite parts of Dorado as a map.
I'm seeing a lot of calls from the Chads, but I don't trust a single one of them, so I'm going I'm
I
going
know.
to
I was
I'm
like
just gonna
trying
go
to
with
feel
the
for you there for a second so you could figure out whatever they were talking about. Because, yeah, I don't know. Some of them looked a little suspect, maybe a little suspect.
Oh boy, okay, so we have 1 sec, let me get the names fixed.
Looks like the Chads will be going on the attack here. Easy Clap will be taking the defense to start. So finally, we see a map where Easy Clap are not coming out as the attackers, which is kind of fair. I think we've seen them come out on the attack because Neglect was really feeling the momentum. The whole team, I think, was really feeling the momentum off those first two maps. And there had to have been a bit of a high right there in the chat room because they were doing so well coming out of the Chads. But kind of Kings Row, I think, maybe pushed a little sense back into them, as it were. So they'll be starting off on the defense here as we try and figure out if they're going to sub anyone in or out.
Well, I'm only going to take Zira's word because he's the manager, so everyone else I can't trust. So looks like Zira's saying they're good, much to the dismay of the rest of the Chads. I think I've already said they're ready. There's so much text in this chat, it's hard to keep track. Okay, yes. Loud motorcycle. Let's see, Easy Clap is ready, and the Chads are ready according to Zira, so no subs. Potentially last map. Chads are fighting for their life. Easy Clap fighting for the win.
Chad's got to be riding a little high. I mean, after that performance on Kings Row, I think they maybe finally hit their stride. We'll probably be able to tell here in about a minute on Dorado whether they are in full form or they're kind of still stuttering a little bit. It was a bit of a rough start maybe, but man, the way they looked on Kings Row, that was absolutely killer. That was some very convincing Overwatch play, if we're being honest.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very interested to see what the Chad's DPS decide to run here. Normally, I would say, it is Dorado, possibly some Pharah, but knowing how many snipers are currently in the meta, I would not be shocked to not see a Pharah as well and just see the stereotypical Reaper Sombra, maybe Bun on the Widow. That's also honestly pretty good on this map. Widow's rather strong here.
Yeah, even with, I think, her most recent sort of changes, she's still quite effective, especially on the first point, this initial kind of push up the lane and then around the fountain and the plaza there. She is still very effective, and Bun, I think, wants to give it a go, though. I mean, there is always a little bit of scaredness when you... Oh, no, switches off to the only Ashe.
Still a sniper.
Still a sniper. Always a little bit scary, if we're being honest, to run that kind of sniper into a dive, and we'll see how they make it work here as they'll push up the street. Already waiting, but Strider gets slept in the back there. Genie doing spectacular work to try and contain the Sombra, and they're just letting him take the street here for now. The dive really hasn't found an opportunity to go in. Adam pokes his head through the window, immediately thinks better of that decision, goes careening off to the side, and now the aggression almost coming onto the dive. Easy Clap can't really decide what they want to do, and Matthew is just going to lead the team up to the high ground to put the pressure on, as Neglect will actually run back to the cart now and stop it. They try and section off Zira there, but Zira just goes, translocates right away, and the positions reverse there for a second. So much cart given up, and again, really not finding the opportunity to push in. Kind of shades of Chengdu's attack on Nepal here showing, as Neglect really just cannot find the opportunity to make this Winston work. And we'll come in on the backside.
Oh no!
Oh no! Bun gets taken down. Venom very low and hack there on the Moira. The kills do trade back and forth, but really the Chengdu Chads look like they are in the control driver's seat of this truck. They'll just continue to push it forward right up to the door, and that is a just gutless first point defense there.
Yeah, I think they were hoping Strider could focus down the backline of the Chads a little bit more there, but he just kind of got slept consistently and decided, yeah, maybe not.
And again, Easy Clap just giving so much space here. Bun kind of relegated to card duty there. I'm more than happy, I think, to ride that one forward and get it going as far as it'll go. And again, they'll try and set up here. YOLO God securing the high ground early on. Strider finally coming online with the EMP, getting a few seconds before Zera gets it. So if they use it early, they might be able to turn this around. I'm not really sure what the scenic route is here, but Venom gets taken down by Zera on the backside. That's a huge pick to start it off. The Moira healing taken out almost immediately. They try and section off Genie on the high ground. They're not able to follow it up. Neglect gets slept on the top deck. Finally, YOLO God will get the Ana out. But again, Easy Clap forced kind of back into this holding area by the doors of the pyramid. And this is just looking disastrous for them.
Yeah, once again, the cart's just moving and not stopping so far. You know, it stopped briefly there, but for a total of 2 seconds. There's so many ults online right now. There's almost 11 ults.
Strider has to hit a huge EMP here. He'll get 2 on the backside. That'll take 1 support out of the fight. The Coalescence coming in early on. Adam does get taken down on the backside, but Worthy trades out there. Both Lucio's down. Neglect now popping the Primal Rage, juggling Thrifty Grain up and away from the point, but the body of the team here for the Chengdu Chad still pushing forward. Now back onto point is Neglect. Rectophobia does take Bun out of the fight. It's a really good beat there to keep them in this. Matthew able to heal almost back up to full health and hold on. EMP coming out on the other side gets 4. Recto throws in the ult as the counter, and YOLO God and Recto finally break the back of this attack. But just look at the push that they got.
3 minutes, and in all honesty, I would be more shocked if the card didn't stop here, as this is finally where the defense starts to have that spawn advantage that's so crucial to Dorado here. So it's gonna be a rough defense, but it's not impossible for Easy Clap to hold it here. They need to regain some of their composure they had in the first 2 maps, though.
The ult economy not really favoring them at the moment, unfortunately for them. Now this wide rotate coming out again. This has kind of been the style that the Chengdu Chads have liked to play against this dive. They basically cut off every potential angle for a Winston engage, and they'll go right up to the high ground and say hello. This is their high ground now. Reinhardt wants a little bit of a view, and he'll push right into the front line with the nano, gets them scattered off, but they don't get Venom. Venom manages to escape. They do get Worthy on the other side. Now Strider and Venom combining for some kills. I think Venom got killed right there as they tried to pop Coalescence. A huge loss for the Moira. The bomb comes in as well. Great bubble to hold it off. And Recto and YOLO again combining for those cleanup kills and allowing them to hold on, Acronator, though that was a dicey situation.
I can't believe Venom actually tried to pop Coalescence there. He had maybe 20 health. The Chads were all around him, and I mean, sure, he had just built it up, but that was risky, and it certainly did not pay off. They're not too terribly off because they do have the better ult economy right now. They're going to have coming up on 4 ultimates soon enough, whereas the Chads really have nothing in the bank, so they need to take this drive fight. So Easy Clap should hold this for at least 1 more fight.
Matthew coming on the Winston now has given up kind of on the Reinhardt idea after that nano and that shatter. Looking for an opportunity to jump in. Strider comes in early, EMP's 3. The follow-up there almost immediately. They drop down from the high ground, trying to get the picks in. Recto does get taken down, but not before YOLO God and J-Venom can combine for some kills. Primal unleashed by Neglect again, who's more than happy to boot that Diva Mecha around like his favorite toy ball. They'll jump back in now. Bun trying to get in and close, but Thrifty Grain gets sent off the side of the map by Worth, and Bun trying to play the hero there. Unfortunately, the story ends quite abruptly at the hands of YOLO God.
Yeah, and that's to be expected, in all honesty. The Chads were looking for a dry fight, and somewhat unfortunately, the only ults they really got out were, the EMP and the Primal Rage from Neglect, which, I mean, both of those built so fast. They really wanted to get, something like Bomb or Worthy's beat out, as opposed to what they did, but it's not the end of the world. They're going to have a lot closer to their own ults now to work with.
Well, up onto the high ground now is Bun, trying to contest that dive, really not giving it an opportunity to get in. Good move there, actually, to mess things up. The EMP comes in, the sound barrier follows up almost immediately. There's a Coalescence invested as well. Venom on the backside, just trying to push out some space and push things forward. The Diva Bomb thrown in, not a lot of joy to be had there. That gives Adam time to push forward onto the card. I think Genie really the only one who could touch, and Genie gets sent off packing. So despite this horrifically convincing attack, it all breaks down right outside the pyramid doors. The wheels really coming off there at the end.
Yeah, and I think that just comes down to the spawn advantage. You know, Easy Clap had more room for error, whereas Chengdu really had to have a clean fight, and they've been having trouble with that all series long, as opposed to, well, really, the one time they did have clean fights was on King's Row Attack, you know, whereas this was a lot scrappier once again. So I think once Easy Clap finally got that spawn advantage, they were able to take, you know, a singular clean fight. They had to make a lot more mistakes to give up second point there, but of course they do have to push it there. The win condition is there, otherwise we're going to the tiebreaker map, which is Busan. So we
Interesting.
might be going there, but we got to close out Dorado first.
The flag has been planted quite clearly here for the attackers. The defenders know what they need to do as well, so their opportunity here to stick it in and hold on for the Chengdu Chads. Bun coming out on the Reaper, and I think this is about the same setup we would kind of expect. Though Matthew coming out on that Reinhardt, and the Reinhardt Zarya, you know, I guess that's kind of an anti-dive choice, really. I mean, they know what to expect at this point in time. Ooh, close hold.
I'm not shocked at all. This is a very Chengdu thing to do.
Yeah. Very much, I think, in the sort of punchy brawl aggression style that we've seen from them. And
I like the potential Junkrat here.
Ooh, yeah, we'll see if they can just stifle this right out the gate. So they've been caught out a little bit here, and they'll push straight up into the gut of things, and they're fighting under this first archway here. Strider on that Junkrat, just trying to do work with those mines in those tight spaces. They'll buy a bit of room here. Really nothing they can do. Matthew just has to back up. He tries to re-engage again with a little bit of support from the Zarya. No picks coming in from either side. Zero on the outside, more than happy to just pump machine gun bullets in. And Strider and Neglect who go down first. And that, I think, should signal an end, and it's everybody back to the spawn doors. Bun jumps in for a second there, trying to almost physically block the way, but he won't have any luck at doing so.
Okay, yeah, let's make the swap onto the Sombra. I can't blame him at that point. The Junkrat was doing work, but I think they scared the Chads enough to back up a little bit, give them more space, be able to run them standard meta.
They come out aggressively. The Coalescence coming out almost immediately there from Genie. Now, J-Venom does have it, and yeah, there it is. The two Moiras basically have been unleashing Coalescences about the same time all night. It's a good grab there. Caught 3-4 on the side. The follow-up sort of there. YOLO God will get taken out. Big EMP. Huge EMP. Gets 5 on the back of that Dazira, and that'll enable the rest of the team to push up, and it's back to the spawn again. Strider gets physically blocked. Has to translocate through the doorway and back to safety.
Oh, and YOLO God gets a late stagger there thanks to Zira. Fortunately for Easy Clap, they are coming up on quite a few more ultimates as opposed to the defense here. The Chads have the Shatter, of course. They're going to have the Death Blossom. They'll have to support ultimates, but really depends on how they use it here. Bun waiting up on the high ground.
Bun waiting for his prey. Sees the sound barrier go out there. Thrifty gets taken down. Matthew gets taken down as well. So that, unfortunately, a bad way to start there, considering they did have the Reaper in position to make the play. Zero gets taken down as well. And it's all hands to beat the retreat here as they'll go back and try and reset on the side of the Chengdu Chads.
That was a blisteringly fast push from Easy Clap there. Like, they needed to do that to push through, especially because Matthew had that Shatter online. Still technically has it, but he didn't get to use it when he probably wanted to. And that is going to allow them to push up to this choke and actually get out of their spawn doors. Of course, Bun is now waiting for it.
Well, there's that, and the Bun comes off the backside of the Shatter. Matthew and Bun combining for an amazing set piece play. Exactly what Bun wanted to see, and they'll just clear the deck all around the cart. And that momentary glimmer of hope there crushed almost immediately on the backside of Matthew's hammer.
Yep, well, that's probably what they wanted to do the first time before Matt Thrifty died, but, you know, better late than never.
Yeah, there you go. They got it eventually. That's what matters. And I mean, it looked good. It was very convincing. They'll give a little bit of space here. Neglect more than happy to push forward down that staircase. 60 seconds left on the clock, so a little bit of pressure being applied here on the side of Easy Clap, who really need to make something happen. They have their mark. They just need to hit it. Neglect pushing the cart forward. The majority of the body kind of hang around. Strider going in for the EMP gets 3. Recto unleashes his ult on the other side, and that's 2 quick, fast, furious kills. They'll catch Matthew out and take him down as well. And really, it's just Bun here hanging out in the back line, deciding just how much of Sundance he wants to be. He'll just get caught out and killed there by YOLO God as they complete.
A little bit of a questionable choice of action there from Bun as he was just kind of sitting there on card, not shooting anyone. He wasted a good 2 seconds, but was it worth it as opposed to being up in the front line and actually doing damage to the tanks of Easy
Yeah,
Clap?
well.
Oh well, what's done is
Reaper
done.
damage tanks?
Oh,
Reaper
wow.
in this year? I don't know. Is that what he's supposed to do? It's news to me. Anyway, here comes the engage again. Pushing hard is Matthew. He's got the shatter in again, so they do have the opportunity to use that. They've also got Grav in the pocket. They'll pretty convincingly, I think, Acronator clear some space there, though the Diva Bomb coming back on the other side. These two teams rolling in and out like the tide right here around this point. The shatter does come in and it's a big shatter, and Matthew's more than happy to follow up on that with a little bit of help from his Sombra on Zera. You do see a little bit of a juggle there from Neglect on the Primal, but really no value to be had.
Yeah, that's the problem once you pop Primal and you know that the enemy line has Shatter. Once your bubble is gone, that's it. It's a free 5-man Shatter, and that's a team fight down.
That's a great taking the opportunity there on Matthew's part as well. Read that like a book.
Chengdu has such an immaculate ult economy right now. This is going to be really difficult for Easy Clap to win this next fight, and they don't have too much time. They do have enough time to take a dry fight and then a real fight, but they need to build up some ults fast.
Oh, now there's a grab coming out early on. They've got Neglect and YOLO got in it. Not a lot of follow-up to be had because they lose Matthew very early on. Bun throws his ult in the backline, though. Bun gets 2. And then Zera, who was initially getting pushed off the high ground, comes back in and finishes off Rectophobia. And they will hold on to the EMP there on the backside of all of that.
Oh no, YOLO God is getting staggered, and they do have a little bit of time for it, but he needs to jump off quick. Okay, there you go. So they have about one more fight. They have the better ults right now. They just gotta play him smarter, and Worthy has to hide from the EMP. That's really the big thing here right now.
Well,
Otherwise,
yeah, you're right. He really does. A little under 70 meters to go, and there's the EMP coming in, and Recto gets 3! The Reaper coming in big on the backside of that EMP. Exactly what they needed, a hero play from their DPS on the side of Recto to push them forward here and get them a bit of breathing room, but a lot of ults invested in that one, Acronator.
Yeah, they used the Coalescence there. I agree with the Death Blossom and the EMP. That's a standard combo, but the Coalescence probably could have been used to engage early here. Save the beat for the keeping everyone alive, as opposed to they might have to use the beat to engage aggressively now. Of course, Zera does still have the EMP, so it's careful.
There's the EMP coming in. Worthy will get the beat off. A couple of targets caught by that. Most of the team caught in it. Neglect was not. Neglect will be punished for that. Recto returns the favor, so both made Tance down at this point in time. The end is in sight, but this defense by the Chengdu Chads looks almost unbreakable at this point in time. You see Thrifty Grain playing around the outside edge of the cart, throwing out those bubbles, building up energy. The ball pick comes swinging back in from Matthew just to create a little bit of additional disruption. The Coalescence coming out, but Worthy and Strider already down. The ult coming out on the other side from Bun doesn't get a lot of value out of that, but the kills are already stacking up here. It's just YOLO God and J Venom to try and hold on, and they just cannot do it. The Diva Bomb is thrown on point. YOLO God punches at him, but too bad, so sad. Not enough there at the end.
Chads are coming back with a vengeance. We're going to map 5.
We are indeed. The reverse sweep, a distinct possibility at this point in time, Acronator, on the back of that map.
Yep, definitely. I am rather pleased to see that this wasn't just going to be a complete 3-0 upset. I love to see good close matches. I'm sure the teams would like to close it out faster, but oh well. That's not happening tonight.
Maybe a bit. Maybe a bit. So it's worth pointing out the first kind of Koth map that we saw of this series. Easy Clap did kind of run over the Chengdu Chads there for what it's worth. But the Chengdu Chads had been playing in a very kind of off. They had, I think, 3 players off role. They're not in that situation anymore. So I don't really know how much we can dig into the bag of evidence that we have from Nepal to determine who's going to win this next one. If anything, momentum very much on the side of the Chengdu Chads.
Yeah, honestly, they've been doing a good job of defending now. Okay, it looks like Neglect's GPU is overheating. So thankfully, the Easy Clap has the exact thing they need right now, which is a main tank sub. Infected is in fact a main tank sub. So at least they have that. It's not the worst case scenario, and they do still have 5 minutes before they have to go in. So maybe it's something where Neglect can solve the problem and get back in the lobby.
Looks like they are trying to get him back in just from the chat that they're having. The specific language used, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, was turns into the effing sun, I believe, was the description of what happened to his CPU or his GPU. I wasn't really sure which one, but quite funny, if we're being honest. And I think some of us have been there before. Busan coming up next. So Koth indeed. Busan is one of those maps my feelings for this map kind of swing back and forth on a pendulum scale. Sometimes I think it's a great Koth map. Sometimes I think it is the worst Koth map. And I'm never really in one camp for more than than a few games, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's hard to say. There is a lot of diversity in terms of what can be played
Yeah.
on Busan, especially mech base is more brawl oriented, whereas the other two you could kind of depends on the meta for downtown, but Shrine is more consistently dive or sometimes double shield if it's like a sniper meta. So have to wait and see, I guess. Looks like they're still waiting to get Neglect in. Chads do have some subs in the lobby if they wanted, but I don't expect them to change anything up at this point.
No. I mean, the momentum, if we're being honest, right? Momentum pretty clearly on that side. Though I will say I do think Dorado felt like a bit of a near run thing at times, but at the end of the day, their defense was just way too stalwart. They really could not get it in. Not getting the value they needed, I think, out of multiple pieces there on the field. And Matthew on the Reinhardt just doing a really good job, I think, of holding ground and standing firm. And the rest of the team just kind of building around that main tank performance. We'll see now moving into Busan, it is going to challenge them and force them a little bit to play. I think when we saw them come out on the Winston, that is the Chengdu Chads, when we saw them come out on the Winston on Dorado, it looked a lot less convincing. So if they are kind of forced into a situation where they have to play that sort of dive composition on Busan, I do worry that that particular stage will not go well for them.
Yeah, especially since looking at Infected's profile, he's also a prevalent monkey player, peaking at least in this current season 4.2, halfway to 4.3. So that's pretty good for monkey, if you ask me.
Pretty good, yeah. It's not bad, really, is it?
No, granted, at this level, I don't know what good is anymore. So let's see.
Fair.
Just out of curiosity, dividing because I know you have the timer on the stream. How much more time is listed there? Hello? You made it.
I might have lost him there for a second, but
okay, so they still have time.
They still have time, yeah. It's good. Gives us more time to fill and talk about Overwatch. That's great. That's what we're here for. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's Busan. One of the things that I think it remains kind of an interesting factor are the walls. I feel like the walls on Mecha Base giveth and taketh away. I have both benefited and lost out from them, and I feel like if there's a sort of perennial issue that people complain about in this game, outside of maybe like Brigida, who is always everybody's favorite punching bag, it is the walls of Busan. Do seem to come up an awful lot.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to see some sort of revamp to them similar to like the elevators. Maybe have like a switch or a button that like, okay, they go up, and then you just have players like sabotaging each other with the walls. I know they're going up. I
actually think that would be amazing, to be honest. That's copyright that quick. Don't let them steal that. You'll see that on the next experimental mode in about 3 days. But yeah, the change the elevators, that was actually kind of funky. I'm surprised, to be honest, that it took them so long, if we're being truthful.
I feel like that was just something so low on their radar, they didn't realize that people hated it.
Yeah, that's actually also quite fair. They probably, there's a lot of other things, right, that go into balancing a game before you start thinking about a handful of moving elevators. But I think I actually don't know this acronym. Did they change the one on the water tower on Hollywood as well?
I believe all elevators are supposed to work the same now. So it'll wait at the bottom when someone goes on it. It'll shoot up and then stay there for a second, then shoot back down and wait for someone else to get off and get back on. So
I'll have to do some testing because I feel like gold Torbjorn players everywhere are going to be super disappointed that they can't put their turret on that water tower elevator. Just watch it go up and down. I feel like that was the placement of choice for many a good, I use this in air quotes, Torn player on that map. Definitely done it myself. But we'll see what they have up their sleeves on that particular one. I'm gonna literally, as soon as we get out of this lobby, I probably go try that. To be honest, I'm gonna literally sacrifice dinner.
Okay, so time is officially up. If neglect. Let's see. Is he in Discord? Is the question. I don't recall which profile picture is his. Okay,
Neglect putting ice on his PC, according to one player in the lobby, trying to cool it down.
That sounds
Feel
about
that
right.
pain. Feel that pain.
He is not in Discord, or at least the voice chat. Let me check if he's online. Because if he is, then we can give him a few more seconds. No, he's offline. Okay, we probably got to start.
Unfortunate.
But like we said, Infected does seem to be a decent sub.
Put it in rice. Oh, these are some great tech support tips there. Yeah, just put it in rice.
All right,
I'll take care of it. That's how that works.
Start.
But well, here we go. Probably not the situation that Easy Clap were hoping to be in at this stage of the map, going into a map, or this stage of the match, going into a map 5, losing their main tank player. Infected is very solid, though. He's a good main tank player. It's not a bad person to have come as a substitute in this situation, but he's got to put him in the performance here, and it looks like we will be starting off at City Center.
Yep, down here in the downtown, possibly some boops on the train, whatnot. Don't take anything seriously that these teams are currently running on, because they're in they can swap however they please. I wouldn't be shocked to see Recto stay on the Symmetra for the time being, just to get his team out on the TP. But
funny how that kind of became a thing. That never used to be a thing. Nobody ever used to do that, even after she was remade, and then suddenly everybody's just started doing it now.
I think they found it faster than the Lucio boost.
Somebody probably timing it out with the stopwatch. Yeah. The initial engage here in the hallway of the movie theater. Very brief bit of contact here. No, Infected. That's a rough welcome into the match right there as he just gets rolled over by Matthew and Frisky Grain on that front line. And this is one of the problems with the Winston Diva Brawl. When it does run into these hard-nosed comps, Acronator, I feel like it does kind of struggle.
Yeah, it's always a little bit difficult to play dive, especially a Winston, into a brawl, unless you have a specific dive comp to deal with it. You know, occasionally the Super Monkey Ball can put in enough damage where it just doesn't matter if everyone's clumped together. But in that case, it was just too much damage, and not enough damage on the side of the dive to deal with the really everything shooting at the monkey's face.
Infected coming out on the Rhine now, and they'll rotate around a point, and they'll get point touch early on here. That'll force Matthew in. Matthew just gets wrecked on the point. Can't stay there for more than half a second before he's absolutely destroyed. And there's not a lot of follow-up here from the Chengdu Chads. Unfortunately, Infected gets caught out, but Bun goes off the edge of the map. No, he teleports back on. Absolutely amazing play on the outside edge by Reaper as the rest of the team just clears the deck there. Beautiful teleport by Bun. Absolutely spectacular.
Nice Twitch reactions there. Wolfman is going down so fast though. The damage is so high in the current meta that it's really difficult to play Ryan. You know, at least it's not too many CCs control anymore, but you gotta deal with just not being alive for very long. So you gotta make do with what you can while you are alive.
Well, they sussed out Zira in the back line really quickly there, so they do force the Summer to translocate. Both sides have the EMP now as they'll push up to the choke. There's the EMP. Bun coming down from on high. Counter EMP coming out. Bun unleashing his ultimate first, but J Venom getting that coalescence in helps Rectophobia get the better of the Reaper opposite there, and they will finally manage to secure the point. A much more clean fight, but a lot of time has already ticked off.
Yeah, already. Chengdu is getting close to that one fight territory. Not quite there. Generally, it's considered around 80-85%. Yeah. But one interesting thing of note there, that Strider actually got a hack off onto Bun mid-Death Blossom. Not even mid-Death Blossom, it was within the first few milliseconds, so he didn't get any value out of it. Kind of wasted it, so Of course, now you have Easy Clap with quite a few ultimates, quite a few more ultimates than the Chads even. Sure enough, they're gonna
initiating sound barrier coming out into the shatter. They follow up, they try and get at him, and they do get at him, and Rectophobia throws in his ult and gets 4! Oh, the Reaper gets 5! He breaks the back of the attack! He says if Bun can do it, I can do it better. And it really shows right there.
In the wise words of Aspen from like a year ago on stream, Rectophobia, I want that disease.
I don't know what it does, but if it makes me good at Reaper, I'll take that. There's the push coming in over the top now from Matthew, pushing forward. Rectophobia gets 0 early on. Rectophobia tries to go for the Moira as well, won't get it. And Bud on the other side, a tale of 2 Reapers here in downtown Busan at the moment. And they'll divest YOLO God of that mech. Rectophobia will get taken down in the back line. Oh, Strider gets caught looking by the Fire Strike, and they'll flip.
That was rather scrappy there. It was looking like it might have gone in favor of Easy Clap there, but the Chads did eventually get the extra kills there with Bun in the back line. And of course, he did build up to yet another death class, and he'll be able to redeem himself for being hacked out of the previous one. Neither team has very many ults.
Well, speaking of ults, there's a Diva Bomb over the top. Coalescence coming in as well. No joy on the Diva Bomb. Coalescence in. Rectophobia gets 1. Immediately taken out. Big shatter on the backside by Matthew. The damage follow-up isn't there, though. Matthew gets brought down. Bun off the top rope. An absolute wrestling move with his Death Blossom to get down onto point and clear the deck. And Jay Venom, the sole survivor trying to hold off, will not stand as Bun spazzes out there through sheer joy of the hunt, I think, at that point in time.
Yeah, honestly, if a Strider could have survived just a little bit longer, gotten that EMP off, I think he maybe could have turned the tide there, but the damage was just too much. The focus fire was too good for the Chads, and they secured that pretty well.
Well, here we are. Temple or sanctuary, I can't remember what it's called, but there's a big drum, so we'll just refer to it as drum, and drumming up the support they needed to push through here. A little bit of wordplay for you there at home are the Chengdu Chads, who are 1 stage away here, Acronator, from getting that reverse sweep to start things off.
Yeah, and while I gotta say that it's gotta be a little bit rough to swap in a main tank for Easy Clap. In fact, it has been playing pretty well. You know, it's a little bit of a different play style, but he's been doing pretty good. Whereas the Chads feel like they're just firing on all cylinders right now.
Well, they're starting the battle off here around Drum Jr. Trying to get in. Zira gets picked almost immediately. A good fire strike there by Infected, just thrown in. They'll trade Rhines almost immediately as well, but it'll be Easy Clap who rolls back down onto the point and starts to initiate the first point of control. Now Bun comes in, Thrifty leading the charge here on the backside. Bun is hacked and caught looking. Strider gets the pick on the Reaper. Big damage taken out right away. And now Infected starts to come back in. Both the Reinhardts are on. Dueling Coalescences unleashed again as the fight rolls around the back of the drum. 50 Grain does go down. The 2 Rhines knock each other into the dirt, but Matthew barely has an opportunity to get up before he's brought down, and Adam, the last person there, as Bun suicide runs onto the point.
I think a big reason there why the Chads were even able to recontest with a 4v5 is partially due to the off-tank difference here. Not necessarily in terms of performance, but in terms of the picks, because Thrifty on that Zarya just had so much charge, and he was able to basically be a 3rd DPS, whereas YOLO God sort of had to play that more supportive role, allowing his team to stay alive. And while it did end in the Easy Clap's favor, it was definitely sketchy there, as a huge amount of damage was still on the side of the Chads. Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Boom! EMP coming out from Strider almost immediately. Ushered in by the motorcycle noise. Recto goes in as well with his Death Blossom again. The combo has been absolutely killer all night long, and it will secure a fight here for the folks from Easy Clap.
Yeah, and they did that with very few ultimates. Again, just the quintessential EMP Death Blossom, and it worked wonders. You see Bun trying to get in Recto's face during the middle of Death Blossom, try and out-damage it, but that's just never going to happen.
Well, here they come straight on the point, almost uncontested. Diva Bomb sailing into the backline will get no value. There are ults to be had. The grab thrown out there. Bun going in, gets shattered out. Is it enough, though? Will they be able to turn this one around? Recto gets 1 pick, and that's about it. It looks like the Chengdu Chads will re-secure Adam, the lone hold, dancing around on top of the drum, accepts his inevitable doom.
I love Recto there, just accepting his fate and eating a fire strike. to close out his slight stagger. Of course, the Chads do have a pretty hefty advantage in the ult economy in for this fight, but Easy Clap does have a good lead in terms of control percentage, so they do have the opportunity to take a dry fight here and just take it slow, or maybe win in the dry fight itself and get a few picks off without even needing any ultimate.
Zero in comes out. There's that. The sound barrier thrown on the other side, but Infected and Recto just deleted from the game there to start things off. Nothing they can do. Oh no. YOLO God loses the mech, and there's a scene that we've seen all night long.
There's nowhere to jump off that's anywhere close to where he is either, so he's just gonna have to suffer through this.
Put it down. Come on.
Yep.
There it is. Oh, his team was so close. They had the glimpse of hope there, Acronator. Tragic. Truly tragic.
Yeah, it was false hope, unfortunately, as the Chads were waiting for that opportunity to just maximize the stagger as much as possible. Of course, now Easy Clap does have a few ultimates coming online of their own now, and they're a little bit more even, so they're going to have the opportunity to actually regain control of the point and possibly bring it into one-fight territory here.
They'll push onto the point, forces the rotate out of Drum Jr. onto the big drum. The hack attempt comes in. Dueling Coalescences and a grab thrown in, but the EMP on the other side might be enough. Thrifty Grain gets taken down. The sound barrier will keep Matthew alive for half a second, but he's hacked and brought down. Infected basically did not stop swinging for the majority of that engagement, and it is enough for them to turn the drum around at literally at 85%, Acronator, right there.
Yeah, this is going to be the final fight one way or the other. I don't think either team is really going to have a clean fight after this upcoming one. It is worth noting there that Matthew's so very close to being kept alive through the hack, and he might have gotten a crucial shatter off. But, of course, there is a silver lining to the fact that he does get to use his shatter this fight, or might be able to.
Early. Into the mini drum room. No luck to be had. The shatter from Matthew gets almost no value. Terrible shatter. Oh, they try and get Recto's ult out of the backline. It won't work. Matthew in serious danger. Matthew will go down. Recto taken out, but Bun unleashing the Death Blossom. Not enough kills coming in, but he's bought space for the team to charge forward here. YOLO God is out of the mech. Cannot sustain in the face of the DPS that's been throwing at him. Strider tries to hold on. Strider jumps on, can't take it. And they might just have flipped this, and they might just take this.
Yeah, they might be able to touch, and they of course do have the beat from Worthy as well as J-Venom coming up on his Coalescence, although Genie does have his as well, so those are going to cancel out. But Easy Clap has a chance here, but they do need to touch. Wait, are they going? Okay, they do. I didn't even notice.
There's the ball over the top. Infected does get the touch in here, just trying to buy enough time for the rest of the team to engage. Infected still alive. They throw in the beat. The beat will keep them in this. The grab does come out. Strider is caught. Strider will die almost immediately. Infected goes down as well. The Chengdu Chads on the brink of the reverse sweep. The Coalescence trying to deny them. J-Venom just holding it off to the bitter end, but that sound barrier coming in over the top from Adam might be enough to seal it. They'll throw in the EMP. It's almost unnecessary. Infected shattered. Infected dragged off the point, and the Chengdu Chads come back from nothing.
What a comeback. That is the Chads I was expecting to see from the beginning, but nothing you can do about having a little while for Matt to come in and then warm up, I suppose.
Yeah, that's maybe that was it. He just needed a moment to hit his stride. A great blossom there from Recto. I'll be honest with you, I don't think Easy Clap have anything to be ashamed about.
No,
this was great play from them.
They performed extremely well. I don't think anyone was expecting them to play this well, and well, it is somewhat of a foregone conclusion. Sometimes it feels like when you have a team like the Chads, who 1-0 are DPS duo in high-level open division, but Easy Clap performed incredibly well. I think this might shake up power rankings quite a bit for the analysts. Now, if they do want it, we can interview someone from the Chads.
A great game. It was a good one, actually, all the way to map 5. Very close, a lot of those maps. There was a couple of very convincing performances from the Chads, but Easy Clap kind of hanging in there most of the time and really making them fight for that reverse sweep.
Yeah, definitely. They slowly gain momentum over the course of the series. And right now you have Zira and Plasma both asking to be interviewed. Plasma didn't play. So I feel like Zira's probably the better pick here because I kind of get the feeling I know what Plasma would say. So let's see. I'll get Zira in here. Casting booth 1. Yep. Okay. And we actually are the last match, so I can't go defer or refer rather to a different game and say, "Oh, go watch that stream." Okay. Anyways, here's Zira. Might have to unmute him. No. Okay. He's
Up, guys.
not server muted. All right. Congrats, Zira, on
Ugh.
the reverse sweep of all things.
Yeah, we called it.
You
We're
call-
like, okay, we're gonna stop running. We're gonna stop running Hanzo and shit, and let's just reverse sweep, okay? And then we're like, yeah. That's what happened.
So I just have to ask. So what was going on in the first map, or where Matt obviously wasn't there, and you just kind of had everyone on off rolls for the most part? What were the comms like? What was the structure like?
So we're like, at the beginning before the game, we were like, okay, Matt's not gonna be here. We need to find out who to put on Winston. I'm like, I could try to play Winston. I hit almost 4.4 with him, right? And Jeannie's like, no, I'm locking Winston. So Jeannie locked Winston, and then we had to put Chegg in. So yeah, we had to play with that. The comms,
Why you gotta be so bad?
comms were kind of questionable, but I mean, to be fair, we had our Moyer player on Winston and
And
Chegg
Arisa.
in, which is a big no. No, I'm kidding. I love Chegg. Chegg's the goat.
At what point in time do you guys feel like you knew you had it for the reverse sweep? Like, when did you know it was going to be a thing? Was there a particular like moment or map even?
Kings Row, 4 minutes. We were like, yo, this
Kind of
is
figured
it.
it was that.
It's already done. Like, might as well just fucking. No, can I say that? I don't know. Might as well
Prefer
just
not to
wrap
say
up
it
here.
So
might as well just wrap up here. Reverse sweep's already confirmed, but we couldn't say anything. So yeah.
All right. Well, were you expecting Easy Clap to put up that much of a fight? Because I think a lot of people were rating them rather low in the preseason power rankings, and they obviously, while they did get reverse swept, they did seem to put up a pretty good fight. All things considered, they made you guys work for it.
I'm gonna be real.
Okay.
I don't think we were trying very hard first 2 maps. Like, first 2 maps, our comms were absolutely horrible. We kept locking Ana. We kept locking, just stupid things. I even went Hanzo. And so I think when we were like, let's focus up, let's win this, and we tried on Kings Row, and then we were like, we got in the mindset of wanting to win.
All right.
But
Well, that's all the questions I got.
to be fair to Easy Clap, I think they have a lot of unknown players, but they could definitely do good. I think we haven't really been that's facts. We haven't really been able to scrim because of OD and Gorilla Grip and stuff. So we've been really that's facts. We've been really
Oh, hi, client. When did you get here?
We've been really not ready.
Yoink. Anyways. Yeah, so that's
one last question, because I just like this one. Anybody on your team you wanna highlight? You want to shout out to? Really, the man of the match from your perspective, yourself included, I guess, if you want to say it.
Don't give him the opportunity.
Genie Winston, honestly inspirational. I'm not gonna lie. We kind of felt bad for Matt, so we had to put him in because he showed up, came from work, so probably would have won anyways with Genie and Winston. But yeah, and then Free Bun. Yeah, let's hashtag Free Bun.
So how hard was Matt molding when you still play, or was it you or Bun who still played the game from him?
Oh, that was me. That was wheezing. He was so bad. He was really hyped that he got play, and then you just see fucking Sombra. I'm just like, oh.
All right. Well, we'll let you get back to your team. I'm sure there are plenty of memes and God knows what else to be had with you guys for the rest of the night.
Yep. All right.
So,
well,
congrats again.
Thanks for the interview, and I had fun.
No worries.
See you guys.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I hope this was an enjoyable stream. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this match to be that close. I'm really glad that it was. Actually, ironically, this was the least popular match in terms of votes. So
really,
Goes to show, yeah. I let the public vote, and I tried to base it off of that as much as possible, but yeah,
Just
I
goes to
think
show.
we're
It's a good
expecting
one.
this
It
to be.
was a great one.
Yeah, it was a good match. I have a lot of high hopes for Easy Clap. Strider in particular, someone who I believe was drafted up from the lower division, so he technically could be qualified for advanced and got drafted up into expert as a flex DPS. Performed rather well. I could see him shooting up an SR rather quick if he keeps performing like that.
Definitely, definitely.
All right. Well, who's pinging me now? Probably Zero again. No, it's Matt. Anyways, thank you, Corbeck, for casting. Thank you,
My pleasure.
Dividing,
Thanks for having me.
streaming. Can't hear Dividing, but he's been our lovely streamer for this evening. That's all we've got. Hope you all enjoyed this. Great day of matches, honestly. And that's all we've got. So tune in tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, if I recall correctly, for the Advanced Division matches. Should be some slobber knockers there, hopefully. That's all we've got. So until tomorrow, peace now.